What a wonderful day to be out in nature. But you know, for some inexplicably weird reason, I just feel like checking what's on the internet. Huh. Same old shit. So the woke have struck again. You know, one of the most amusing things to me personally is seeing Black and minority lexicon get co-opted by outsiders and then described by outsiders to outsiders, or even worse, to us, on what the terms mean, like woke, DEI, and all that stuff. Like it's just, I find it particularly amusing. Even though, let's be honest, it's all just a substitute for the hard R. If it wasn't for Black and minorities, they wouldn't have any boogeymen. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about AC Shadows. So speaking on AC Shadows, that fabricated outrage came as fast as it went, and quite honestly, I'm not really surprised, as that's usually how it goes with that particular crowd. In fact, they've moved on to another topic, and I'm not really sure what that topic is. I believe it's something like judicial abuse or something, but I have 34 guesses on what it might be. That backlash was just racism. And don't let people try to gaslight you about historical accuracy in the video game series that is about a magical orb and time-traveling DNA, even though Yasuke in particular is like an actual historical figure, or was. He's now dead. It was just a textbook racism by the gaming crowd, in particular, the weeaboo subculture, whose tears are always very kawaii desu. When it comes to gaming and nerd culture, there's always been a subgroup of racist and white nationalists. In fact, one of the biggest jokes we have is the Call of Duty lobbies and 4chan. So it kind of caught me off guard to see Blacks and minorities be upset over this when it was expected. And as Maya Angelou once said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Now, I'm not saying that just because it's expected, you should tolerate it or anything. Like, best believe I don't tolerate it. But that kind of behavior was one of the many reasons why I stopped playing Call of Duty. The main reason is I just stopped liking it after Big Red won, but also like, I'm not subjecting myself to that. I stuck with SOCOM, where if you did that, you got team killed or voted out. Me personally, I don't really accept people calling me out my name, which is kind of why that only really happens on the internet now that I think about it. You know, I wonder why that is. Besides like the one kid who gave a drive-by hard R while in the passenger seat, in the back seat, which at that point, I can't even take you seriously. Like, come on, you're in the back seat of the car. You're not even up front. Like, get the fuck out of here. Now, I'm not saying we should be afraid or anything, or even have thin skin. Lord knows I've been called like every slur under the book, and even had a few so-called death threats where, you know, I challenged them. We can meet up and do something about it, and that never happened. But what I'm saying is, and this is to my fellow minorities, you don't have to subject yourself to that type of behavior. You don't have to allow it to bother you to the point you're upset or even disappointed, because quite honestly, we're not going anywhere. We have our spaces in nerd culture and have always had them. On just the anime side, things like Dragon Ball, Akira, Naruto are big in the Black community. Like one time, I was on a football field. Now we were having our warm-ups before practice, and we're in our early 20s, right? 18 to 20s, so we're adults. And throughout the entirety of warm-ups, this team was arguing about Dragon Ball versus Naruto. And I was just sitting back, like just chilling. Hell, even Bleach came up. Like, that's what I mean. We have our places. At my university, I was introduced to Deck Builder by a Black wrestler. You know, we had mixed tables of, you know, people playing like gangster rap and whatnot, mainly me, while others were playing Magic, Deck Builder, Smash, Tekken, etc., etc. Look at Comic-Con and all the anime cons and everything. Like, it's so many mixed people there. It's a mixed crowd. It's safe for Blacks and minorities to be there. What I'm trying to say is, in that internet space where the racists like to get riled up and do what they do, barrage things, it doesn't affect out here. Hell, it barely affects gaming. They did the same thing with Battlefield 1 because of the black guy on the cover, right? And besides the fact that black people were in World War I and World War II, like my great-grandfather, who I lived with, was in World War I.
Future Specs here with a slight correction. I meant to say he was in World War II. His father, however, who would be my great-great-grandfather, was in World War I. They both served in the Navy, which was like segregated. Anyways, carry on with the video.
Besides the fact that's neither here nor there, they did all of that, and Battlefield 1 came and people still bought it. I know, I bought the game 2 weeks after launch, and to this day, in my opinion, it was the best Battlefield game that's came out. I love it. So all the sentiment that was expressed by, blacks and minorities, some big, some small, on the social media space, on like how they were upset about it and everything, man, fuck all that shit. The worst thing about Assassin's Creed Shadow is the fact that Ubisoft is the one making it. The rest is just white noise. Don't let that shit bother you. And that's all I gotta say. I'll catch y'all on the next one, and be easy.